Hi, how are you, Denise?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. South Broward alumni right there.
Oh my
Go
goodness.
Bulldogs.
Another bulldog in the house.
So, we're very excited to talk to you today. So, you wrote this book, When Spirit Speaks.
Yes.
And I told you this, and I told her this. I read 2 chapters. That's all I could read. It's scary. And the interesting thing about this book is your very first encounter happened in Hollywood, Florida.
Yes, it did. Yes,
Okay,
it did.
so tell us what happened, Denise. And is this a gift for you or a curse? Because you've been doing it for more than 25 years now.
So you're a paranormal medium investigator.
Well, yeah, I'm a paranormal investigator, but I think the mediumship came first because I had always had the ability to communicate with things or to feel or sense things, or even be able to read people spontaneously without any ability to like have anything in front of me. I didn't need anything. There were no tools necessary. And as a child back then, people thought you were nuts. So I didn't talk about it much. As I got older, I realized that maybe this was something more because somebody else evaluated me and said, no, 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 not so fast. There's something here. And then I was in that time frame when we were all growing up in the 80s, later 70s. A lot of things were on the hush. You didn't talk about Ouija boards. You didn't talk about none of this stuff where they automatically just slated you like you're going straight to you know where.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, when it became more open, people started reaching out to me. And in doing so, they would come to me for these things like, I want to talk to my loved one, or can you help me with something? And eventually that graduated into things like even working with professional services such as law enforcement and things like that, a little bit here and there when I was in South Florida. The whole paranormal part of it started when, you know, people would call and say that they're having experiences in their home. I just then took the two and rolled them into one to make it all sound right. Like, this is how it's going to work. I started it at a very young age, and I was actually working this, simultaneously, because the whole you're a medium or you can talk to people thing kind of went against what everybody believes in today's standards. And not even so much today anymore, but then.
Right.
And I didn't play it under that. So I kept it on the low. But the whole paranormal thing has taken off like crazy.
So are there paranormal spaces everywhere, Denise? Like if you walked into a Starbucks that's been there for 20 years, but it was something else before that. I mean, do you find spirits just everywhere you walk into a building?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
And if I've gone into restaurants, if I'm wearing my shirt, it's almost like as soon as we put on the shirt, we transform into something totally different.
Ghostbusters? No, I'm kidding.
And they want to tell you their story. I've gone into multiple restaurants throughout the state of Florida where someone has come up to me and tapped me on the shoulder and said, I want to talk to you. I can't wait to get the hell out of this restaurant at night because I'm in the kitchen doing dishes and things are flying off the shelves. There are people that have talked about this in this book where they have had these experiences, and I can't explain it, but what I do know is that Florida is built on ancient burial ground. Florida has a lot of that. What I talk about in here is like, with all the building and all the stuff going on, we have one location in Tallahassee in particular out at Lake Jackson. When you're doing development and you're digging the ground, if you're not moving everything, you're taking everything and you're just distributing that out all over the place. And so I feel that when you tap into sacred land and you mess with things like that, you stir the mojo up and you can create this spirit thing. So everywhere I go, if I'm in that shirt and they know they got a story.
Wow.
Okay, so then I have 2 questions. So, and they kind of go together. The first question is, so there are spirits all around us. Like is it one of those things where you should just start calling out, like, go to the light, go to the light? Number one.
we never try to tell anyone to go to the light because this is a soul choice. The soul has to be ready to go, and it makes its decision when it wants to go. Even right here now in this interview, looking at the two of you, you have energy sitting behind both of you, and it is a loved one that is attached to Julie. So this is something that I could see because I see that aura behind her, and I will represent it to her father. And this, honestly, to be totally straight with you, happens on a daily basis. We don't ever go into a case and tell them you have to go to the light. The soul makes the choice when it wants to go. The soul makes that decision. And there are multiple realms, and they are, the way I try to explain it to people is like where we're sitting right now, the dimension directly in front of you, maybe about 5 feet. That's where everybody is. And that's where we see a lot of things right there, right in front of us. Some people hear it, they smell it, they feel it, they get that whiff of perfume, they get the whiff of smoke, they feel that there's things going on. Those are indicators. But just like looking at the two of you right now on the screen, I see that right behind the two of you. There's energy there. Energy is connected to us no matter where we are. We carry it every day. It's part of who we are. We can't function without that energy. We don't function.
This is wild. So, okay, can people
where can they find the book?
This book is amazing, and I'm telling you, the stories are phenomenal.
And they're all based in Florida.
They're all based in Florida, and they're unbelievable, and it's a great read. But can people hire you? Like if they have like a haunted, can they call you up and be like, Denise,
what's going on in this house?
They can. People call me from all over the place. I get phone calls in Jersey, but I can't get to Jersey. So if I know of a reputable team that actually does this stuff, we can refer out. Okay. I have in Georgia. If they're reputable and we know they really do this stuff, we can refer out. Okay. In Florida, they call. They got to get on my schedule because I'm calling all the time. I have a case coming up on the 25th. I've got to go to St. Augustine. We got cases all over. Wow. And we do not charge. The only thing is if we have to travel a distance out of the area or it requires us to stay overnight, then obviously there's going to maybe be some lodging and some gas situation involved.
Wow, you don't charge? That's amazing.
We do not charge. Well, no paranormal investigator, and for anyone watching this, if you're an authentic investigator, you're not charging your clients. Your service is free. That's part of the para-unity. We don't charge for it.
Well, then everybody needs to buy your book.
Yes, and where can they get the book?
This is a great book and great read. Really and truly,
you got to get past chapter 3, ma'am.
Just don't read it alone.
You can get this book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, wherever books are sold. Okay. Buy this book worldwide on Amazon. So if you live out of the country, you can get it in the UK, you can get it anywhere. You just got to put there, look for the book. It's available. And people that are local in our area, Madison Bookstore, they have it on their shelf. Okay. I'm very proud of the book. It took a while to get it out. I was asked if I wanted to write a second book. So that is in the works right now to possibly put out another book. Wow. It's for a little bit from this, but everything in here, from the photos to the stories, these are authentic people. These are real cases. I think I should mention to your readers, because there might be some people that will read this, or viewers rather. A lot of people say, well, there's no conclusion on some of the stories. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is, if it didn't conclude, then chances are something happened. If you read this carefully, there are people that have actually moved out of their homes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Could not. They had to leave, and they did it by their own choice.
This is, Denise, we could literally talk to you for hours. This is so interesting. And you're so kind to do this. And I've had a reading with you before, and she's awesome, guys. She's amazing.
When Spirit Speaks, Denise Burrows, True Paranormal Investigations. She's been doing this more than 25 years.
Amazing.
These are stories all based in Florida because, of course, Florida would have paranormal activity. And she's a South Broward Bulldog.
Yeah, Yeah, bulldogs.
Thank you so much for joining us
Denise,
today.
thank you.
I appreciate it.